All right, Shalom.
So,
Brothers of Great Millstone Charlotte coming at you with another live lesson through the spirit, power, and mercy of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Before we get started with this lesson, as always, we want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and rule well. Peace, blessings, and mercy to the house of David. Habayaf Dawadah, the hopeful elect. To you we say Shalom. All right. And the installment of this lesson is going to be titled The Love of Money, Integrity Kryptonite. Okay. Because as we see the fashion of this world, it rewards you casting aside your integrity to be able to acquire wealth and riches and to be able to sustain this wealth and riches that you've gained by casting aside your integrity. And the Spirit has been pretty much exposing a lot of these things, a lot of these whistleblowers, a lot of people pretty much, spilling the beans, so to speak, of things that they've done to acquire wealth. And it was really all tied toward them casting aside their integrity. Now, if I may, before we get that precept, I just want to pull up this definition for integrity. According to the Free Dictionary, it says steadfast adherence to a strict moral or ethical code. Okay. And what is that moral code? What is that guide that we have that we're to adhere to? It's the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scripture that serves as that moral compass for our people. Okay.
right. I did want to get a definition real quick too.
Go ahead.
Because like you're going into, right, the love of money is causing people to compromise their integrity. They're compromising their morals, right? And you look at that word compromise, it says a settlement of differences in which each side makes concessions, right? So what are you conceding? You're conceding your morality. You're conceding your integrity. You're conceding the standard of living that you once had, right? It continues on and says, a weakening or reduction of one's principles or standards, a compromise of morality, right? So you're weakening, right, the standard that you're supposed to be living by, to gain, right, in this society, right? And as the brother's going to get into, we see that currently and, with the results of our forefathers as well, man.
That's right. I also want to touch on that definition that one of the words you had said was concede. When you go into concede, pretty much concede is to agree, but with reluctance, right? You're not really doing it out of like pure intent. You're just agreeing to just go along with things, which is what a lot of these people do, man. Right? They go to these various, when we think about today's time, a lot of these celebrities that people look up to and reverence, they go through all of these freaky ass ways to make this money. But in the back of their mind, they know that they're not supposed to be doing this. Specifically, the Israelites that are engaging in these acts, man. Why is that? Because you are a chosen people. You have a zeal of the Most High, not according to knowledge, but nonetheless a zeal. So in the back of your mind, you shouldn't be doing none of that rabbit shit to compromise your integrity, but your love for money has blinded your mind to living a life based upon a moral compass, a moral code. Okay. So let's unless you had anything you want.
All right now.
Come, let's get that Proverbs 19:1.
This is Proverbs chapter 19. Verse 1, it says, better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool.
Right. It's better to walk but have integrity. It's better to have your morals than to have riches, because a lot of these people, it says better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. A lot of people are perverse. They walk with dishonesty, man. Okay. And you see it in their speech. You see it in their conduct. And they look foolish at the end of it, man. Why is that? Because the way how you've lived is not really the way you should be operating. Okay. I had something right fast, if I may. This is Revelations chapter 2:9. It says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Okay. because hey, being at the bottom, all right, in this society, we're esteemed as nothing, right? But in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, we're rich. How are we rich? We're rich in faith, in spirit, man. Okay. And it's better to be that way, having your spirit aligned with Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, walking in integrity. Okay. It goes on to say, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And hey, there's been a lot of heat coming on those the Jewish people, all right, and how a lot of the way how they've gotten their riches are through ill-gotten gain, all right, ways that pretty much casted aside the integrity, the moral code that was established from on high. Okay.
Yeah, that precept as well goes into the wicked scribes and Pharisees, you know, because they were exemplifying the customs, so-called, right? But they weren't moving in the spirit, right? So that's why it says, who say they are Jews but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, because they were compromised, right, through their love of the status that the Romans had given them.
That's right, which was tied to the money, right? That status, that fame, that bag, that completely blinded their eyes from their error.
Exactly.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 9. It says, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity." Now, we understand that pretty much the scriptures say that, wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. But ultimately, the wisdom is more important to have, and Jake pretty much puts a overimportance on money, and that's essentially the downfall, putting it as an idol.
That's right. Straight up. But hey, that's perfect to segue into that Sirach 31. Let's go ahead and grab that.
God, this is Sirach chapter 31. Start at the top.
Con.
It says, "Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep."
Right, and a lot of our people, right, are pretty much consumed, as the brother has said, with that lust, that love for money, man. All right, to the point where they'll do literally damn near anything, right, to get that bag. Jake will kill, they will steal, right? They will do anything to try and get money, right? And it's wearing them out, right? We see it in our people, all right? The immense amount of stress that they are under with this whole mantra of quote unquote chasing the bag. But hold up, what's the issue with that bag to where you got to continually chase it? Let's grab that.
Okay.
Haggai 1:6. I'll read it and a brother could speak on it. "Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes."
Right. Hey, that money is gone right before it hits your account, man. Right. Everything that you aspire to gain, as scriptures tell you, it's all vanity. Right. So all these things are worthless ultimately because it's fleeting. Right. Riches grow with wings, as precepts say, man. Right.
Yep.
So all these things you seek to gain, right? Us being under the curses, you're not ever gonna be able to grasp it, man. Right.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
Just laying back on your point, this is the Bar of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 17. It says, "Cursed shall thy basket and thy store." Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store, which that pretty much goes into your money. Like we just went into, Haggai 1:5 and until verse 6. For the most part, Jake is without money. I mean, you got some pockets of Israelites that are doing somewhat decent, but for the most part, Jake don't got money like that. So pretty much, Jake feel as if he's without riches, but the true riches is in the scriptures.
That's it. There's no value out here, man. Right? Everything out here is worthless at the end of the day. You know, that's why it tells you the former things pass away. Right? This former way of life, these former customs, this former currency, right? All these things are destined to be gone, right? And it's going to be replaced with the true value, right? Which is being this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. And even now, we know that these dollars or whatever currency, right, you use across the globe, it's not. There's no value to it because it's not backed by anything, right? It's just IOU notes, pretty much, man. The true value is in the resources, right, and in the control of the lands. That's why these trillionaires and these, you know, their wealth is not measurable because they have the control over the earth. They control who gets access to what, right?
Yep. If I can add to your point, pretty much, you know, it's IOUs because if you go to your local pawn shop and you get like a quarter, I believe a silver quarter is like worth $20, and then a dime is worth about $7. You know, so that shows you the devaluation, if that's a word, or devaluing of the currency, and also that pretty much these dollars you're paying dollars for gas, food, and you know, other resources, but that's pretty much giving paper, and it's giving a shortage of resources, and who ultimately controls the resources? You know, Esau Edom.
That's hey, I got an article, if I may. I must bring this out, right? Because brothers are talking about things that are important, right? The resources, the land, ownership of these things that actually are profitable to bring forth money, right? This is to show you, you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the extent of how money, or should I say, the extent of how resources control the game, right? As the brother Kwanawaf has said, a lot of these trillionaires, billionaires, their money isn't really measurable because of the amount of resources and land that they own, right? And as the brother Yawam had referenced, you know, that silver coin, right? That may have more value than the actual fucking coin. Showing you all of this fiat currency is bullshit, but nonetheless, let's just dive into this article right quick. It's titled "The World's Largest Landowners," right? And it pretty much breaks down all of these various families or organizations and their ownership of various parts of land. But the point I want to make here is it says, who owns the most land in the world? It says the largest landowner in the world currently is King Charles III. King Charles III. Now, brothers and you sisters may not know who King Charles III is, but let's look up this nigga. This nigga. Yeah. Hey, brother, can you see that on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, Charles III, right? Old ass white man, old ass Edomite white man, so-called white man, right? But he is the one that owns a great mass of land. Now, how much land does the royal family own? It says he and the British royal family own more than 6.6 billion acres of land around the world. They technically own more territories around the globe, amounting to 1/6 of the surface of the planet. The family owns land in the UK, Canada, and beyond. And then it goes to mention, you know, various other families, organizations, people that own a great portion of land, right? But, you know, we make mention of that just to show the extent of how deep the access to resources, right? Resources and the ability to control land and how that impacts things, man. All right. That's where the true wealth is at, as the brother Kwanawaf has said. Not in these IOUs.
Right. Because you can own whatever you want to, you know, in America, right? But somebody owns this land, right? So they can do whatever they want to with what's on their land, right? If you have a house built on a piece of land and then somebody owns that land, they control all the resources. You just have the house, and they can boot you out whenever they deem fit, man. Right, so all these millionaires with mansions, you know, you got a sky rise, a duplex apartment, whatever, right? You know, whatever cars you got, all these things, you know, are worthless because you don't have access to the resources that you have your stuff built upon, man.
I got a precept for you. This is Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 1. It says, Righteous art thou, O Lord, when I plead with thee. Yet let me walk with thee of thy judgment. Let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doeth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore all they happy that deal very treacherously. Thou hast planted them, yet they have taken root. They grow, yet they bring forth fruit. Thou art near in their mouth and far from their range. Now I want to get this word for planet. Because just going back to your point, Quanawaf, that word is H5193, natai. All right, and it says to plant, to fasten, fix, establish. And I want to go into this word. It says figuratively, it is said to plant a people, i.e., assign them a settled residence. So the scriptures say the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, you know. And pretty much the scriptures also say that Esau will have the fatness of the earth. So he has control of pretty much what the whole globe, you know. So Jake feel like it's ways to get around the curses, but ultimately, you know, it's like that due to prophecy, you know.
Exactly.
So chasing after the riches.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm about to say chasing after the riches is pretty much in vain.
Right. Case in point, right, is this these Moorish niggas. They'll be like, oh, you know, I established my sovereignty. I don't gotta pay taxes. I don't gotta do any of that no more. They in the spirit where they don't have to render unto Caesar what is his, right? But Quanawaf made a good point. You don't own the land of the things that you own. So therefore, these things could be taken from you. Now, case in point, right? One big aspect of Israelites chasing after that bag is to try to break generational curses in what they perceive is the way, right? Because as we know, the scriptures tell us there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end there are the ways of death. Jake's love of money, they'll cast aside their integrity so that they can go ahead and try to break generational curses, get a piece of property, right? In the state of North Carolina, if you're delinquent in paying your real property taxes in North Carolina, you might lose your home in a tax foreclosure. Where is the ownership in that? Right? Where is the generational wealth that you're trying to build upon? There's nothing wrong with owning a home, but the case that we're making here, the point that's being made is that Jake doesn't really own anything. This is not our rest. Okay.
I got scripture.
Go ahead.
This is Mashaliah, Proverbs 22 and verse 7. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. So pretty much, when you go into the word servant, ibad, all right, that pretty much goes into being a slave. So pretty much going into how America is ran is pretty much a debt slave, because you're pretty much working for the elites in a roundabout way.
That's right, brother. Could somebody hold 1 Timothy 6 and 9 and read through 10? But I'm going to reread Sirach 31 and then we'll grab that. Sirach 31 and 1, it says, watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. Watching care, I'll read verse 2. Watching care will not let a man slumber, as a sore disease breaketh sleep. You know, so a lot of people become restless in this quest for chasing after money, man. And that's when that love for money begins to pretty much trickle into their lives and affect them and impact them in a negative facet, all the way to the point where they're casting away their integrity. Whoever got that 1 Timothy 6 will read that.
Okay. It's the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation. Guys, can I start up some?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's 1 Timothy 6 and start at 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain, right? So being content with what you have, right? You know, understanding that, you know, you've been given enough, you know, to get by. You know, we're not here to be thriving on this side, man. Right? We're here, you know, to do this work and just get our daily bread, man. It says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Yep.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. You know, so not to be, you know, trying to chase the bag, as brothers say, man, right? Not trying to heap riches unto ourselves, you know. Yep. Verse 9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Right. And hey, as the brother Kwanawaf had made reference to, right, we see it happening now with our people, and we've seen that happen with our foreparents, man. All right.
Mhm.
When our people begin to develop a sense of love for money, they completely cast away their integrity, and now they're a AWOL nigga willing to do every and anything to get after money. All right.
Mhm.
But what does that lead to? It leads to destruction and perdition, man. It ultimately leads to what? Nothing at the end of the day. If you understand what's at stake, which is destruction, if you are to carry yourself having a love for money, you wouldn't be doing that. If you're sensible,
I got a precept.
go ahead.
I'll show you Proverbs chapter 23, verse 4. It says, labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. So that's essentially why you shouldn't chase the bag, or go get some money, because pretty much those things can be taken away, and they're pretty much, it's carnal. It's searching out the carnality. Why it is wise to be wise with your money, but you shouldn't set your heart on that money, like it says in the New Testament.
Right. Hey, that's when you reread that once more.
This is Proverbs 23 and verse 4. It says, labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven.
Right. And we're literally seeing that shift happen right now. Right. We're seeing that shift where the money that you have is beginning to devalue every single day forward, all the way up into the point where the dollar, this system of money, is going to be done away with. And the only way that you'll be able to exist within this system of new currency tied to that implantable device, as it tells us in Revelations, the 13th chapter, that no man may buy or sell, save he that have the mark. Right? So the riches that you have is going to go away. Okay? You keep reading, bro.
Yeah,
Proverbs.
Salakia, Kwanawaf in 1 Timothy 6. Unless you have something, Kwanawaf.
Yeah, just real quick. It's Proverbs 30 and verse 8. It reads, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Mm-hmm. Right. So the point being, right, the Lord's not going to put us in a destitute state, but we don't want to be in an extreme abundant state on this side either, man. Right. Because like it says in verse 9, at least I be full and deny thee and say, who is the Lord? Or at least I be poor and steal and take the name of thy power of my power in vain. Right. So we don't want to be on either end of the spectrum, man. Right. Because if you're in lack, you're gonna be seeking to gain, and if you have it all, you're gonna be too high-minded, right? And that's why, as we're reading it here, you fall into many foolish and hurtful lusts, in this 1 Timothy 6 chapter, because you have access to things now, right? Money grants you access in this world. You get access to various what's the word? Shalom priest. Yeah, you get access to all these things that will ultimately destroy you in the end, man. But going back, it's 1 Timothy 6 and 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
Right. They have erred themselves from the faith, man. All right. Ultimately, they've gone away from the way which was profitable for them. All right. In their sight of seeing that they could chase after this money in hopes that would be something to better themselves. Right. But as that love for money continues to pretty much grow and not be checked, it festers and spirals out of control into something that's terrible, man. that leads to people's death, that leads to people's destruction, right?
That's why it says in I don't know if y'all brought that out yet. In Ecclesiastes 7:7. All right, how oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Because Jake be so hard pressed on trying to better the situation that they'll use the money, which was created to be a defense, like the scripture tell you, and the money will end up corrupting their spirit, man. They'll defile themselves with all manners of abomination and wickedness just to get the bag, man.
All right, precept. This is the Volume Psalm 62 and verse 10. It says, "Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery." So trust not. The scriptures say to woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. It says, "And become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them." So don't set your mind on what you have, the carnal things that you have. Verse 11. The Most High hath spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto the Most High. Now, when you go into this word power, it's the Hebrew word eyes, all right, which pretty much goes into strength. So your ultimate strength, where you lie at in this world is with your relationship with the Lord. The fear of the Lord.
Right.
I'm gonna keep going to verse 12 and finish it out. It says, "Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work." And if you just trust in what you got, the Lord's going to give you a reward for that.
Finish out that 1 Timothy.
Okay. It's 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 11. "But thou, O man of power, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness."
Flee from this fashion of the world, right? Okay, because as it tells us pursuant to 1 Corinthians 7 and 31, that the fashion of this world will pass away. The love of money is upheld in this system. All right. In order for you to level up in this system, your integrity they make you cast away your integrity, man. They want you to be defiled, right? As they did with our foreparents, man. All right. To try to make you abstain from righteousness. But we're given instruction to do else, to turn away from these things. Run.
Right. And it's scriptures that tell you, roughly paraphrasing, walk not by it, don't turn away and look at it, just going into that wickedness, man. And ultimately going into them looking at money as an idol, right? And what Jake do during the ancient times is defile themselves for these idols, man. And what are we seeing now? Jake is defiling themselves for this idol.
That's right. Because the money really, it is, because it's a talisman. Because when you look at all the symbolism that's on a dollar bill, man, it's actually a symbol of witchcraft, man. And these people worship money, man. That's why when you really can't tell niggas nothing, because the moment you try to, reprove our people, they be like, nigga, you can't tell me nothing. I'm rich,
Right.
They start comparing pockets like that. Like that's a true measure of judgment. Just because a person doesn't have as much money as that person, that doesn't determine if you're better than somebody or not, man. When the scriptures literally tell you that the poor is looked at better in the eyes of the Lord than the rich, man.
Yep.
That's right. Let me keep continuing on. 1 Timothy 6 and 11. "But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness."
Right. These are things. Salaki, I was going to say these are characteristics that are pretty much blinded to those that have the love of money.
Yep.
Right. They don't see these practices as being needed because of their obsession and love for money, man. Okay.
Right.
I got a precept for you.
Go ahead.
This is Sirach, chapter 20, verse 29. Exactly what you said. It says, "Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and stop up his mouth that he cannot be reproved," or he cannot reprove. You know? Because that's just what you said, man. Because money will pretty much, it'll turn a person away from proper judgment, which is why in the law it tells you on how a judge is not supposed to take bribes, man. Because we understand that money, as we are seeing in America perfectly, that it doesn't take much for like they say in the world, you can sell a nigga cheap, man. A nigga will sell out his own people for nothing, like it showed in that movie. What was the Bonnie and Clyde movie that came out a couple years ago, Queen and Slim.
Oh,
Niggas
yeah,
sold out.
yeah.
He sold out them niggas for goddamn for nothing. You know, the dude from Judas and the Black Messiah, you know, sold out Fred Hampton for a damn gas station in like $20, man. You know,
Can I get that for you?
go ahead.
This is Proverbs 28:21. It says, "To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that men will transgress."
Yeah, and that money it was a major influence on why our people was quick to sell out each other for, man. You know, but like I said, the money was created to be a defense for you, to sustain you. You know, but it has turned into a idol to worship, man. To where these people literally throw their whole life away just for the money, man.
Yep. We go back to that Sirach 31.
It says, Sirach chapter 31 and verse 2, it says, "Watching care will not let a man slumber, as a sore disease breaketh sleep. The rich hath great labor in gathering riches together, and when he rested, he is filled with his delicates.
Mm-hmm.
The poor
Right.
laboreth in..."
A lot of these rich people, you know, they make their money, you know, and they sit back, you know, like a fat cat. But you have to understand the way how they went about getting there. They compromised. They compromise their integrity. They do a lot of vile things, which the Spirit has been manifesting these things before everyone, to know that the people that you see in the world that are rich, that have it made, that, you know, people idolize and reverence, they some sick niggas behind them closed doors.
Yeah, right.
You know, they do some wild things behind those closed doors to have a state in this system to be worth something, especially you Israelites, man.
Yeah. Did y'all already get Sirach 10?
Lie.
You fish out. I'll get that after.
Okay. Sirach 31 and 4. "The poor labor in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he is needy, still needy.
Right.
He that loveth gold."
But remember, as we had read earlier in Proverbs 19 and 1, right? It's better to be poor and honest. Okay. So yeah, we may not have the riches and the fatness of this world, but yo, we got our integrity. And that's well priced above the riches of this world, man. As we see, the fashion of this world is clearly out the door. Okay. So to have favor with the Most High is supreme.
Mm-hmm. Because as we know, wisdom is the true riches, man. And Proverbs it continually stresses how wisdom is better than rubies. All right. So with that being said, you know, scriptures let it be known that, man, even though, like you said, we're poor, this is James 2 and 5. It says, "Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he have promised to them that love him?" Because we're not laboring to be rich on this side, because we understand this is Satan's kingdom. And in order for you to win in Satan's kingdom, you have to bow the knee, which we're not going to do, Lord willing. The Lord keeps the spirit on us to continue in this truth, man, because we know that our riches is in the wisdom, man. You know, that's why in Matthew 6 it tells you to store up thy treasures in heaven, where moth and rust doeth not corrupt, nor thieves break through or steal, man. All right.
So I got a quick one. This just laying back on the same point. It says Sirach 11 and 21. It reads, "Marvel not at the work of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor." Right. So continue in this work, right? "For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on a sudden to make a poor man rich." Right. So that transition is gonna happen quickly, man. Right.
That's right.
It's gonna go, you know, through Jacob's trouble, where you see that transition go from the righteous suffering and going through our tribulation, and to the wicked starting to suffer, man. Right. And as we start to prosper, man. So as we see that conversion is going to start, we're going to see the true value make itself present, right? It says, "The blessing of the Lord is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessing flourish." Right? So suddenly these things are going to take place, right? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding we've been bestowed with the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to show its true value, you know, very soon, man. Just as we're watching the value of this place suddenly start to devalue, man. You know.
Yep.
Keep going, that's the rock.
Yep, we go back to that. Somebody hold Matthew 16 and 26, and then another brother hold John 11 and 48.
I got John.
Back to Sirach 31 and 5, it says, "He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof."
Right, and a lot of our people, right, are following after the way of corruption, the way of death. All right, they're literally aligning themselves with Satan so that they can have an upper hand in this system. But at the end of the day, you selling your soul, you bending the knee bowing the knee, as the brother Amawan had brought up, right? That doesn't really profit you anything when you think about it, man. Right? What does that really get you? I'm gonna just read this right fast. Matthew 16 and 26. And the brother could speak on it if they want. Matthew 16 and 26. It reads, "For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?"
Hey, you selling your destruction by selling your soul to Satan, man, for whatever it is you're trying to get. Because when Yahweh Shem Shai returns, man, you have to pay out what is owed. Because like the scripture tell you, all Israel was bought with a price, man. All right, because when Yahweh Shai went up on that cross and gave up his spirit, all right, that was to cover all Israel, starting with the elect on this side, but ultimately all Israel, because in the kingdom of heaven, all Israel will be ruling in the kingdom of heaven. So if you're selling your soul to obtain the goodies of this life, it's ultimately to your detriment, because you're gonna have to die on this side to be, pretty much for you to repent, man. I got one more to add to that.
If I can make a point real quick, priest.
Go ahead.
Because we went to that word compromise, and to compromise means you have to lose something, man. So everything comes at a cost, right? So to gain over here means you have to lose somewhere. Jake doesn't realize that they're losing their chance of salvation by chasing after this worldly gain, man.
This is Sirach chapter 20, verse 14. It says, "The gift of a fool shall do thee no good when thou hast it, neither yet of the envious for his necessity, for he looketh to receive many things to come." So like you said, man, you sold your soul to obtain the things of this world. It was really for nothing. Because though you are on top right now, when Babylon the Great is destroyed, man, you're going to essentially lose everything again, man. So you're going to be right back down the position that you were in, but it's going to be worse this time because you already feel guilty in your posterity to pretty much, off of what you've done to get your riches. So when the Lord takes it away, you know that judgment's coming for you, man. So everything that you have had is pointless, man. All the cars, the clothes, the women, the fame, status, all that shit is for nothing. That's why the scripture tell you he calls it vanity and vexation of spirit, man, because it's worthless at the end of the day, man.
That's right.
This ain't our kingdom.
Right, exactly.
Yep. Hey, as we were speaking on earlier, priest, before you had hopped on, right? A lot of the things that Jake owns, because Cornerwealth had brought up the point of, riches being tied to resources and land, true ownership. Jake doesn't own anything.
Nope.
You got to pay property taxes. You got to pay property tax on a house. You got to pay property tax on a boat. You got to pay property tax on your car. And if you don't pay these taxes, guess what? It can be taken from you. So even you just living, it's a tax on that.
When you die, it's a tax on that.
Exactly. It's a tax on everything, man. This is not your place of sovereignty or where you should be expecting to be able to level up in a system and say, you know what, I'm going about things the right way, or I'm still abiding within my ethical code or your moral code, which is tied to your integrity, which is tied to the scriptures, man. You can't elevate in this system because, as the brother Cornerwealth made mention of, compromise. Okay, we've compromised for the Lord by doing what? Casting off the world. And the world, in turn, is doing the opposite. They're casting off their opportunity of salvation for the world.
Yeah, because they want to win now. Like
exactly.
Drake made that stupid lyric back in the day. I can't see in heaven being better than this, man. Which shows you our people have a very lowbrow and skewed perception of what the kingdom of heaven really is going to be, man. Because if you think this cesspool of America really is the end all be all, man, then shit. I don't want no parts of this shit, man. You know, because
Right.
you got to share your fucking your kingdom with gay people, with goddamn feminazis, with the damn devil, man. That in itself, man. When we rule, we gonna have complete sovereignty, man. Where we ain't gonna have the answer to nobody. We gonna have everything our own. Okay,
Right.
be able to flourish, you know, in our own power, man. And Jake wants to goddamn share peanuts with the goddamn peanut gallery, man. Fuck that shit, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, read Sirach, Baba Kushar, read Sirach 31:6, and then we'll get that John 2:13. Sirach.
It's Sirach 31 and verse 6. It says, Gold hath been the ruin of many, and the destruction was present.
Right. Money has led to the destruction of many people. All right. It's been a ruin for people, man, and brought them face to face with problems, disaster. And we're gonna go into a few precepts to bring forth that point. We'll start with that John 2:13.
God, I get it. I'm right here. This is St. John chapter 2, verse 13. It says, and the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money and overthrew the tables.
Right. So here it is. You have these wicked people that were pretty much within the temple trying to make merchandise of the Pesach, right? And Yahweh Shai, in his righteous anger, he whipped them and turned over the tables, man. And pretty much brought through a whirlwind, right?
What it was they were selling sin offerings. That's what they were selling. So what has always to be spoken of when we read this is when you notice this is the only time that Yahweh Shah got out of character, man. Because Yahweh Shah was pretty much stoic all throughout the Bible, but this one time is the only time you can read about him actually losing his temper and going off, man. You know.
Mm-hmm. And that shows you how serious of a matter it is too. You know.
Yeah.
You know, coming back to present day, right? You see man making merchandise of the ministry. You know, there's going to be a serious consequence for that, man.
Mm-hmm. Verse 16, and said unto them that sold doves, take these hence, and make not my father's house an house of merchandise.
Yep. And that was the end of it, man. Okay. The love of money had driven our people at this point in time to start, again, as the brother priest had made mention of, trying to sell sin offerings, man. All right, making merchandise of the Father's ministry. Okay, that love of money had pretty much wired their mind to think that type of behavior was conducive. It wasn't, man. It wasn't beneficial to them, nor was it beneficial to any other person that was involved. Okay,
niggas was pre got done meditating sin, and Jake hopped on the opportunity, man. That's how you know niggas is wicked.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Let's grab John 11:48.
I got you. This is St. John 11:48. It says, if we let him thus alone, I'll go up. I start at verse 46. It says, but some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahweh Shai had done. It says, actually, this is just the speed up context. This is going into when Yahweh Shai, after he had raised up Lazarus, and the word of his miracle was going around. So, so you can have context of what the chapter's talking about. So, 46 it says, but some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahweh Shai had done, talking about the wicked scribes and Pharisees. So it says, then gathered the chief priest, as we see that today, the chief priest and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we for this man do of many miracles? If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Mm-hmm. Right. So literally the people, as they love money, right? They're going aside with what the begotten Son, the Savior of our nation. They're seeing the acts being done, and they cast aside that so that they can keep their place in the system under the Romans, right? But what was the end of that? Because as history tells us, Jerusalem was sieged. Okay, so anything that they had established with the Romans, it came to naught, man. As the brother had read earlier in Proverbs, riches flyeth away and make themselves wings. So none of that shit mattered at the end of the day, right? But the mindset behind their love for money had wired them to think that the way how they were carrying on was beneficial when it really wasn't. Okay, they literally casted aside their integrity and what they were, because here it is. These are the scribes and Pharisees. These are supposed to be men in Israel that are well understanding of what's going on. Of course, they weren't meant to. All right, for the story, but the fact is that they had that love for money. They had that obsession for money, and it ultimately led to their destruction, as well as many others.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing taking on today. All right, you got Jake that is using the truth as a means to make profit from, man. Niggas selling all type of different shirts, which like the apostles going to. It's nothing wrong with you selling clothing and all that, but to mix that in with your work, man, like you put a that demon from Sakari, his name Hakar, whatever. This nigga had a whole fucking 7 to 9 minute intro on pretty much all his merch, his Cash App, selling $300 features, Israelite only features, all that bull. They're making merchandise off the truth, selling breakdowns, selling Passover tickets and Passover garments. You're using the word as a cloak of maliciousness to line your pockets up, man. And that's like you were saying, it's all for naught, because we understand that when Jacob's trouble fully hits and this society goes in complete anarchy mode, man, none of that money is going to mean a damn thing, man. Really, before when the economy crashed, all that shit ain't going to mean nothing unless you niggas take the chip, which we see a good majority of you doing that. But you're literally, pimping your people out just so that you can line your pockets up, man. That's wicked as hell, man. The truth, the scriptures tell you to buy the truth and sell it not, man.
I got a quick precept. Amos chapter 5 and 12 says, "For I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor and the gate from their right." This is what a lot of the leadership of our nation did then, and they do this now. Right? Here it is. Our people, they're in need of guidance, and they're being misguided by all of these wicked people that have these ill motives to get gains of this world.
Exactly.
And the Lord is taking account of that.
That's right. I got a quick one. Just another account, going into, these men presenting these gifts to you, right, so that you compromise your integrity, right? Now, this is going into the account of when the king of Assyria sent a messenger to Hezekiah. And I'll start in Isaiah 36 and 13. It reads, "Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and said, Hear ye the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus saith the king, Let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you." And this is what we're hearing, come from these men, right, who are outside of the ministry, man. Right? Don't listen to these men, right? You guys stupid ass women talking about don't go listen to these men, right? And this is the message coming from the king, ultimately Esau, in this sitting in this thing right now. It reads, "Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying the Lord will deliver you surely. The city shall not be delivered into the hands of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, make an agreement with me by a present," right? So they're going into that compromise, man, right? "And come out to me, and eat ye every one of his own vine, and every one of his own fig tree, and drink ye every one the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. So they present these gifts, right? They present these riches, as an escape, right? You come over to our side, we're going to give you all these things, man, right? Push our message, we're going to give you all these gifts, right? Chase after this and come hearken unto me, don't hearken unto the Lord, man, right? But that's what we see taking place right now.
Mm-hmm. I got one more for you. Just to give another example. All right, this is the book of Acts, chapter 1. Because, like you was going to, man, for the love of money will cause our people to go off, right? So this dealing with Judas Iscariot. So this is Acts chapter 1, verse 16. It says, "Men and brethren, this scripture must be needs that have been fulfilled, which the Holy Spirit by the mouth of David spake concerning Judas, which was guide to them that took Yahushua." Because here it is, Judas was a part of the 12, and he sold Yahushua out. I forgot how much shekels of silver it was, but it says, "For he was numbered with us and had obtained part of this ministry. Now this man purchased a field with the reward of iniquity, and falling headlong, he burst asunder in the midst, and all his bowels gushed out." So after he sold Yahushua out and he was given that money, his conscience pretty much got the best of him to where he tried to give the money back, and they said, we don't want it. That's your money. And then he eventually got so guilt ridden that he hung himself, and his bowels spilled out, man. Yep. So it showed you he got that money for no reason.
Yep. I got something right here to add. This is spiritual. I just searched on Google how many shekels did Judas get, and it also entails the value of how much that's worth today. So Judas got 30 pieces of silver, according to Matthew 26 and 15. And then it goes on to say, there are 31.1 grams per troy ounce at spot valuation of $28 per ounce of troy. In 2021, 30 pieces of silver would be approximately $91 to $441 in present day value.
Nothing.
Going back to the precept we brought out, it was Proverbs 28 and 21, I believe.
Hold it right quick.
I'm gonna go to it. This is Proverbs 28 and verse 21. It says, "To have respective persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress."
For a piece of bread, bro. That shit was it wasn't nothing. That's why the Bible verifies you can buy a nigga cheap.
Yep. That ain't even a PlayStation.
$500.
This nigga Judas is crazy, yo.
Yo.
Regardless of the amount of money, the nigga's crazy. But shit, nigga.
But that goes to show what we said though, man. Because it don't take much for Jake, bro. Jake be so hard pressed for whatever it is that he's trying to get, man. Like it says, for the love of money, because money in itself isn't wicked, man. All right? But for the love of money, Jake will literally fucking do anything, man. This is why niggas will bend over. They'll sacrifice somebody. They'll sacrifice their children, their mama, their brethren. They'll slut their wives out, their children out. They'll do. There's no means to it. Pretty much. What I'm trying to say. There's nothing a nigga won't do for money, man. This is why I quoted that earlier. I'm gonna read it. Sirach chapter 10, verse 13. Verse 9. Sirach 10 and 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such and one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels, man. So Jacob literally throw his integrity away for money.
Yep.
And that's the most stupidest thing to do, because this money, like the scriptures tell you, I don't know if y'all brought it out in Proverbs 23 about how you're not supposed to trust in uncertain riches, man. This ain't even real money.
Mm-hmm.
At least what Judas got was real.
They brought it out.
Right.
You want me to get it again?
Nah, if y'all already brought it, that's cool.
Jake compromising themselves for stacks of paper, man. Right.
Well,
I just watched a video. This woman stole her kids for $500, man. Right. And then she was in court crying because the judge was calling her out on it and telling her how terrible a person she was. And I was like, this is what people are doing in this world, man, for those dollars, man.
Shit, women are literally popping out babies just to collect checks from the men that they got pregnant by, bro.
Exactly.
That's how you know that money really is an idol, man. These people will literally do anything to worship that idol, man.
Yep. We go back to that
Sirach.
Yep.
This is Sirach chapter 31 and verse 7. It says, "It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it, and every fool shall be taken therewith."
Yep. Now let's grab the account in Acts, the 5th chapter, of the apostles being brought forth before the wicked scribes and Pharisees. Acts 5 and 25.
I'm right here.
Okay.
This is Acts chapter 5 and 25. Then came one and told them, saying, Behold, the men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people, lest they should have been stoned. And when they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, Did we not straightly command you that ye should not teach in this name?
Right.
Behold,
So now, understand that the works of Yahushua have already been done. It's known. But yet, here it is. They're still reluctant to admit and acknowledge the Lord because the stumbling block of the love of money has blinded them. They don't want to lose their position with the Romans. They want to continually be in favor. And here it is. They know. Everyone is privy to what Yahushua has just done. The fact that was the Son of God. But niggas will still be fixated on the love of money, and they won't have any sense of remorse or repentance so that they can continue on in their money. But that's a stumbling block to them.
Yeah, Drake got that mentality like Dave Chappelle back on the Chappelle show, that I'm rich bitch.
Exactly.
That's all they care about.
Mm-hmm.
It says, saying, Did we not straightly command you that ye should not teach in this name? And behold, ye have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood upon us.
Right, because really what they were saying is they don't want to lose their stance. They don't want to have to be held accountable for anything of Yahushua, right? Because they've already sided with the opposite side, the opposing side.
Yep.
Right? They've sided with the Romans. They've sided with Esau, right? Which is what our people have done now. They've made a covenant with death. If I may grab that very quick. It's the book of Isaiah. Salakia, one second. Isaiah chapter 28 in verse Isaiah 28 in verse 14, it says, Wherefore hear the word of the Lord Yahweh, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. This is speaking to the sellouts. Verse 15, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. Okay. So again, this is speaking of those sellouts that made covenants with Esau. All right, the wicked. And it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. So this is that same spirit that's had at this council is like, look, you about to bring his blood upon us, man. Right? We're about to see scourges. We don't want that to happen. It goes on to say, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. And that's where they get their strength, man. All right. With them siding and making that covenant with death, right? Their love for money, they've compromised their integrity, right? They've cast it aside, serving the Lord in truth and sincerity, okay? And again, that's a stumbling block to them because ultimately, again, as history has told us, what happened at the end of the day? That covenant with death was disannulled. Jerusalem was sieged. Just like how we're about to see now, a great persecution against our people. You compromising your integrity, you casting off the way of salvation and seeking after righteousness, it ain't gonna profit you nothing at the end of the day. We go back to that.
I got one for you.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 9. Moreover, the prophet of the earth, that's like I'm starting 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Now, in the NLT, it reads, those who love money will never have enough. How meaningless to think that wealth brings true happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only the only happiness, the only value is in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Right? Seeking after riches, it, like as it reads on, it talks about how people who work hard sleep well, but the rich seldom get a good night's sleep because they're always troubled with worries, man. Right? So seeking after these riches is always going to have you in a worrisome state of mind. But you can get that stability through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man.
Also, too, they're also troubled in their conscience because they know what they've done.
Kind.
Yep. I got something right quick just to add to what you had just said. Luke 6:24 says, "But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation." You speak on that for bro.
God, yeah, you received your consolation. Yeah, you were allowed to win on this side. All right, but in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to be low. You know, so at the end of the day, like we always tell you, hey, live it up. If you don't see any wrong in what you're doing, then continue doing what you're doing, and may Yahweh Shem Yahushua, judge you, because we know as we've been constantly seeing, the elder brothers and the apostles bringing out how you niggas are constantly getting over on the congregation, man. Like I'm gonna say, like Sakari, man, it was coming out how these niggas is robbing the congregation by sitting there. In one hand, they're telling the people that Paul's writings in the Bible aren't validated, but then they'll turn around and use Paul's writings to tell you how you're supposed to tithe them, man. So that's a contradictory in that, man. And you're no better than the poverty pimps than the goddamn church, man. Because these are niggas that are using the Bible deceitfully, like it says in Jeremiah, man. Woe be to them, cursed be the man that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully and holdeth his sword back from blood, man. All right, you niggas are using the word to pretty much help further bind our people up, man. So you're no better than the Edomites, man. So you got your consolation prize on this side, man. All right, all the fame, all right, the money, the praise of the people, but shit, all that's gonna go away once this society collapses, man. So it's worthless at the end of the day, man. So you could talk shit on us, call us bums and everything, as much as you want, but like we read earlier, we're rich in faith, man. All right, so we understand at the end of the day, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is gonna take care of us, the bums of this world. All right.
Right. Hey, scriptures say, "What is the hope of the hypocrite?"
Exactly.
It's a harsh judgment that's coming upon these men, especially for perverting the doctrine, right? As we often go into, they're going to be beat with many stripes because they knew the Lord's will and did it not, man.
Yeah, you niggas are gonna have a lot to take account for when you get face to face with the Yahushua, man. All right. I have one real quick. This is Malachi 3:8. It says, "Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Ye are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation." All right, because Jake is using this truth as a means to get rich off, man. As we've heard accounts in the past of guys, preying on the simple and the sincere. All right, to cash out me this amount of money, every time they hit you up, you got to send offerings. I say, all you hearing is Cash App, donations, PayPal, Patreon, all these different things. All right, and then the congregation, that they'll feel guilty if they don't give you any money, man. But you're pimping them, man. All right. Ultimately, when you're doing that to the Lord's sheep, you're doing that to Him, man. And that's why it says you're robbing the Most High, man.
Right. We go back to that Sirach 31. We'll read down to 11. That'll be it.
God.
Sirach 31 and verse 8. It says, "Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish, and hath not gone after gold."
Yep. And ultimately, who is that? That's the elect on this side, man. All right. Not found with blemish. All right. Not found with fault. All right. Accounted worthy to stand before the Lord in the day of judgment, man. That didn't cast aside their integrity to chase after money. All right. To try and profit off of the Father's business, man. Keep reading.
It says, "Who is he? And we will call him blessed, for wonderful things hath he done among his people, who hath been tried thereby and found perfect. Then let him glory, who might offend, and hath not offended, or done evil, and hath not done it. His good shall be established, and the congregation shall declare his alms."
Right. Ultimately, the goods that will be established is the kingdom of heaven, man.
That's
All right. The elect will be preserved to enter into that kingdom. Now, I'm just gonna grab this right quick. This will be the last precept unless brothers have anything. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 4. It says, "The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable." Okay. So as we see the fashion of this world feeding off of the lust and the love of money, right? There's problems that have been caused by this. All right. But in due time, the Lord is going to set up those that were conscious on how to maneuver. They didn't have a lust of money. They didn't have a love of money. They saw money as what it was used for, a defense, man.
That's right.
Okay. They used the money and not the money used them.
That's right.
Okay? They kept their integrity. So, with that being said, that was the last precept I had. Unless your brother said anything.
Nah.
God. All right. Hey, but Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson to you, brothers and sisters. All right, we're going to close out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh.
Ba'ashem,
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and rule well. Peace, blessings, and mercy to the house of David, Abayafta, without the hopeful elect. To you we say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.